Today we will learn about more about how to manage a case of protein energy malnutrition in the community. So I have presented this today in the form of a case presentation. An actual case that has been taken in the community previously. Okay, not in this area, in another area of India. So it was taken by this PEM case. Okay. So what are the presentations of a protein energy malnutrition case? We will see in this presentation. Okay. We will start with the demographic data. When you take a case in the community, if you approach a community like many of you have and many of you will in the clinical postings, you will go to the village, you will approach a family, and if there is an under 5 child, you will approach them in the following manner. Okay, কেউ কথা বলবে না, কেউ কথা বলবে না। আচ্ছা, then demographic data you take, what is the age and sex, what is the name of the baby, what are the father and mother's name, okay, what order, and where are they residing, in an urban area or a rural area. What was the chief complaint and history of presenting illness? According to mother, her son didn't attain height and weight for his age. My case was, the person who has taken the case is saying, my case is apparently well at age of 1 year. Then his mother noticed that he doesn't gain weight. Then she consulted a private practitioner at age of 1.5 year, but the height and weight didn't get increased. After that, she didn't consult any doctor. So the height and weight was gaining well till 1 year, and after that, it was not gaining. It stopped. At 1.5 years, they consulted a doctor, but there was no result, and so they didn't follow up also. And so now the complaint is that child has not gained as much weight and height as they should, because the child is almost 5 years old. Okay, what is the past history? There is no hospital admission, no history of any pneumonia, TB, malaria, kala-azar, jaundice, asthma, like any other infectious disease that can happen to the child. No past surgical history. So usually when you go into the community and want to take a case of the protein energy malnutrition, you first get the general information like we have, then you get the chief complaint and the history of present illness. What is the chief complaint? Usually the complaint is failure to gain weight, or the height has not been gained properly. Then there are any danger signs. In this child there is no danger sign, but there can be danger signs like there can be convulsion, there can be unconsciousness, there can be inability to feed or drink, then the child might be lethargic, child might be vomiting, they might not take ingest food. So like advising that খাবার খাওয়াচ্ছ না কেন বা খাচ্ছে না কেন, শুধু খাওয়ালে হবে না, child cannot feed actually, lethargic আছে, vomiting হচ্ছে, inability to feed, একদম মানে 6 months থেকে 5 years অবধি the child cannot, those are called the danger signs, the child cannot feed. And other infections like কোনো respiratory ARI history আছে কিনা, ARI মানে acute respiratory infections, diarrhea, fever, cough, cold, ear discharge, recurrent infections. Okay, IMNCI বলে যাচ্ছে, integrated management of neonatal and childhood disease, যেটা syndromic management হয়, সেখানে হচ্ছে এইগুলো সমস্ত আছে, all these infections are there that you will read later. But in any case, for malnutrition child, you have to take a good history of the infection. Koni infection hoyeche kina, swelling of feet and all those things. Any past history of surgery, hospitalization or other infections, especially like chickenpox, measles, TB, these cause malnutrition in children, right? So you have to take that history as well. Now, and treatment history. If any, there is history of admission in nutritional rehabilitation center, as we learned last day. Any Anganwadi center nearby, whether child is registered there, what is the frequency of attending there, if no, what is the reason. In a community, you have to take this history also, that is there an ICDS or Anganwadi center nearby, if the child is attending, what is the child getting there, if not attending, why are they not attending. Okay. So now coming back to this child, what is the feeding history? The time of initiation of breastfeeding was immediately after delivery. Colostrum was given. Frequency of feeding was on demand. Okay. Any prelactal feed? There was no prelactal feed, but exclusive breastfeeding was not maintained. Why? Because top feed, that is extra food, like Cerelac for example, has been added from 3 months of age, in which the cow milk was given, or Cerelac or cow milk or buffalo milk, whatever that available. In mother's milk is not the only thing that is given. On top of that, top feed is also given. Bottle used and was cleaned by boiling. While feeding that other top feed, the feeding bottle was used. So exclusive breastfeeding was not maintained. You will find such, maximum cases you will find such history, that either there has been prelactal feeding or there has been loss of exclusive breastfeeding. Okay. So now what you want to ask about the birth history. এখন আমরা child এর birth history, feeding history তে চলে গেলাম. So what do we understand about the birth history? I have not mentioned here because for the birth history the child has been done by vaginal delivery, the birth weight was normal. So I have not again reiterated all those things here. But usually for a PEM case, after taking the normal medical history, you go to the birth history. That is whether the child was preterm or term. Here the child was term, had normal weight on delivery. Birth weight, birth order, first order we know. Type of delivery, place of delivery and delivered by, crying after birth present or not, incubator or NICU needed or not, and any congenital anomaly present with the child or not. Then coming breastfeeding history. What is the time of initiation? আমরা দেখলাম যে কখন এরকম ভাবে ফ্রিকোয়েন্সিটা কি ছিল, টাইম অফ ইনিশিয়েশন কতক্ষণের মধ্যে খাওয়ানো হয়েছিল, কলোস্ট্রাম খাওয়ানো হয়েছিল কিনা, and prelactal feed and specific type of feed and reason given if any, exclusive breastfeeding was there or not, and any history of bottle or artificial feeding. Okay, so all this history must be taken from the birth history and the breastfeeding history. Up till now it is clear কিভাবে আমরা হিস্ট্রি নিচ্ছি for a PEM child. If the child is above 6 months of age, you go to complementary feeding, like when was it started, nature, amount and frequency, কাটরি মানে কাপ দিয়ে কি স্পুন দিয়ে কত চামচ খায়, কি কত বাটি কতটা পোর্শন খায়, সেটা নিয়ে কতটা খায়, দিনে কতবার করে খায়, সেটা ফ্রিকোয়েন্সিটা মেজার করতে হবে, অ্যামাউন্টটা মেজার করতে হবে. Hand washing practice by mother before after preparation of food and feeding to trace any source of infection. Okay, complementary feeding and history এভাবে নিতে হবে. Then immunization history, check for BCG scar, and if there is a card available, then see in the card কবে কবে vaccine পেয়েছে, immunization status, reason for delays, history of any adverse effects following immunization. Okay, then growth chart of child on the MCP card, weight recordings. In the card also there is the growth chart. Okay, in the MCP card also there is the growth chart. There is a growth chart for the WHO, and this is a growth chart for the that is there in the Anganwadi. They have a whole big register. In that, at the register is full of growth charts. Every page there is a growth chart, and the name of the child is written there, who is registered, and their growth is tracked over time. You can see, as we saw in the last class, there is a green zone, there is a yellow zone, there is a red zone. Green means normal, yellow means this moderate acute malnutrition, between -2 and -3 standard deviation, and below -3 standard deviation is the red zone. The child has severe malnutrition. Okay, similarly for this. So in the community, the growth charts present with the healthcare providers are like this, color coded. Okay. So whether there is any growth chart already recorded with the weights or not in Anganwadi center or any health center, for example. And finally, any personal history. Personal history is like every other adult that you take. Okay. Then you go to the history of the mother. Here the history of the NC, history of the mother was normal, so I haven't written that again for the child. What can you take in case of NC history? That is mention according to trimester, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. That is, a registration of pregnancy was done in the first trimester or not, immunization given or not, IFA and calcium supplementation given to the mother or not, how many NC visits were there, any complications that happened like hyperemesis, like vomiting. Okay, that usually happens in the first trimester. Then preeclampsia, eclampsia infections, preterm delivery, antepartum hemorrhage, any other complication that happened during pregnancy or not. These are the danger signs or the risk factors in high risk pregnancy. And investigations during pregnancy done or not, like hemoglobin, blood grouping, RBS means random blood sugar. Okay, ultrasound, if any, it is usually done in the second trimester ultrasound at 11, 12, after 12 weeks. But whether it has been done or not, at least once, screening, just for screening. USG is not needed for every pregnant mother, but usually done as a screening method at least once. If there is any anomaly detected, then maybe subsequent USG is done. Otherwise, one screening for USG is done. So this is the NC history that should be mentioned. Any significant history should be flagged. Okay, because the problem of malnutrition can originate from the pregnancy itself. Any complications during that. Then there is a intranatal history that is for the child. Like the place of delivery was there, private hospital, delivered by doctor, it was cesarean section, cried immediately after birth, no history of postpartum hemorrhage. Postnatal, the birth weight you can see is normal. Born at full term, initiation of breastfeeding soon after birth, means within 1 hour, and no complications were present at the time. Then there is nutrition history. Now what the child is taking, 5 years child, they will have a eating schedule. Okay, you do not focus on the upper table. In the lower table, as you can see, we have calculated the energy and the protein. This is also needed. The dietary history, recall history 24 hours is needed at least for the detecting whether there is any nutritional deficiency or not in diet. So we can see that there is almost 40% deficiency in energy and 5% deficiency in protein, in regular protein intake. We compared it with the RDA at that time. That is the recommended dietary allowance. So we can see that there is a dietary deficiency as well at this time. Anthropometric measures, we took the weight, we took the height, mid-upper arm circumference, head circumference, chest circumference and BMI. Okay. BMI is usually taken for child above 5 years, but in this case, the person who took that case has also calculated BMI, but it is not of much importance here. Main importance is of weight, height, MUSE. Okay. And if there is like head circumference is greater than chest circumference, then it is noted. You can see it is a bit higher. The head circumference should be actually lower than the chest circumference by this age. But as you can see, there is head circumference is a bit larger. So there is definite malnutrition. From anthropometric measurements also we can see there is definite malnutrition. Now they are plotted on the growth chart. Weight for height to see for which malnutrition does this check, this chart? Weight for height. Acute malnutrition, not acute malnutrition, and this child is severe acute malnutrition, is suffering from severe acute malnutrition because the weight for height has gone under -3 standard deviation, right? Okay. Then there is height for age. This is for chronic malnutrition. That is, if the food has been or the malnutrition has been occurring from around birth, okay, and the child has stunting, the height is not there as per age of that person. So there is chronic malnutrition also. And this is overall malnutrition. This is also, the child is also malnourished, severely malnourished, as we can see. This is mid-upper arm circumference, but okay, that is also lower, as you can see. What was the mid-upper arm circumference here? It is 12.8. Okay. According to that, like 12.5 to 13.5, there was the middle thing. But that is for normal, that is moderate malnutrition is there or not, and whether below 12.5 is severe malnutrition is there or not. But for SAM child, no, and you will also see in this spotter that yellow, that green zone is from 12.5. There is a slight discrepancy from what is written in the textbook and what is there in this spotter. Just and the moderate zone is between 11.5 to 12.5, and below 11.5 there is a red zone. Why it is like that? Because this detects severe acute malnutrition. 12.5 that 12.5 cutoff is for severe malnutrition, but 11.5 cutoff is for severe acute malnutrition. So there is a slight difference. Okay, there is a slight difference. So this accordingly According to this, the mid upper arm circumference at this time was 12.8, but according to age, no, age it was lower, it was very low. Okay, first of all, what is this? What is this step? This is called Shakir step. Okay, it is there used in the field for the measuring mid upper arm circumference, used mainly for healthcare providers. At the mid upper arm, okay, once you locate the area, you pass this through here and measure it. এইভাবে measure করবে। এখানে যতখানি চাইল্ডের আর্ম উইথ সার্কামফারেন্সটা আছে, you can see there is a arrow here, okay, and you measure the child arm circumference. যত টানবে দেখবে তত তোমার ইয়েলো জোনের মধ্যে চলে আসছে, means the child's mid upper arm circumference is decreasing. Whether it is in the green zone, then there is okay. Okay, so this is called Shakir step. Okay, then comes the family history. Whether there is any history of stillbirth, miscarriage, early childhood death in the family already or not, and history of any other diseases like torch diseases, HIV, thyroid disorder, TB in mothers. Then socio-economic status of the family. What are the expenses and where are the expenses going? That is also a main thing. যদি খাবারের উপর expenses দিতে পারছে না, that might also be a reason for the malnutrition in the child. And finally, I think এরপরে নেই, হ্যাঁ, finally among the history there is a, or observation, there is a living conditions, that is housing. housing এ যা যা তোমাদের পয়েন্টস আছে, কিরকম এনভায়রনমেন্টে থাকে, কতগুলো ঘরে থাকে, ঠিক আছে, what is the kitchen setting is, কিচেনে কিরকম খাবার তৈরি হয়, whether hygienic practices are maintained there or not, water supply আছে কিনা বাড়িতে, that is important for seeing whether infection is there or not, sanitation আছে, waste collection, disposal, any other psychosocial history like domestic violence, gambling, addiction, contraception, and other history of contraception in family, whether family planning is done properly or not, that can also lead to nutrition deficiency in both the mother and the child. Okay, so these many factors should be there when you are determining whether the child is suffering from malnutrition or not. Not just the child, but the whole setting. That is why this is case taking of protein energy malnutrition in the community. Okay. So as you can see, general examination, anthropometry te weight, height, head and chest circumference, MUSC. Head and chest circumference basically তোমার, you don't need the actual measurements, ওটাকে কিছুর সাথে কম্পেয়ার করতে হবে না, জাস্ট দেখতে হবে যে হেড সার্কামফারেন্স আর চেস্ট সার্কামফারেন্সে ওদের রেশিওটা ঠিক আছে কিনা। The child is above 1 year of age and the head circumference is still greater, that means the child is definitely suffering from malnutrition, because when the child is born, then only head circumference is greater than the chest circumference. At age 1 year, they become equal, and then the chest circumference rises in relation to the head circumference. So if it is opposite you find in the child, then there is a problem. Okay, then any other general examination and vitals like appearance. Okay, whether the child is alert, playful, or the child is very irritable or lethargic, what you can see. Then temperature, pallor, icterus, cyanosis, all these things, lymphadenopathy, edema, respiratory rate increased or not, pulse is okay or not. Then in the child, what you do, you will learn this in pediatrics also, or have learned in pediatrics already. That is a head-to-toe examination. In any under 5 child, you have to do the head-to-toe examination. That is, look for evidence of protein energy malnutrition. What can occur? There can be eye changes, like in conjunctiva, cornea, skin infections and dermatosis, hair changes, nail changes, spitting edema in the whole body. Evidence of rickets like pot belly, wrist widening and others. And oral cavity examination for dental hygiene and acid dentition. Usually in such children, dental hygiene is very bad. Okay. So what you can see long eyelashes, brown hair, flax sign, easily painlessly pluckable or flaky pen, dermatosis. So in skin problems, hair problems, then problems in the conjunctiva, cornea, that is vitamin A xerophthalmia jeta hoy, seta hote pare. Signs of measles like maculopapular rash, red eye, all this can be there. In this diagram, you can see there can be delayed closure of the fontanelles in malnutrition, frontal bossing, dental hypoplasia, pectus carinatum, then swelling in the wrists and ankle joints, bowing of legs. This is for rickets, mainly seen in rickets. Okay, white sutures, craniotabes, rachitic rosary, Harrison sulcus, and all these things that you can see that can happen during vitamin D deficiency in children or rickets. Okay. So this examination part is there. Another systemic examination you can also do. Finally, there are many parts after the psychosocial evaluation if done for the family or not. But otherwise, we have taken the whole history till now, and the clinical diagnosis is. আচ্ছা কথা বলবে না কে পেছনে কথা বলেছে continuous. Let others listen if you don't want to hear, please. Then clinical diagnosis ki this boy, resident of such a rural area, has achieved all the developmental milestones according to his age. Developmental milestone history is also important in this child. But here the child has met the developmental milestones, but according to the charts, the examination is a case of severe acute malnutrition based on the WHO growth chart. Okay, severe acute malnutrition এর আগের দিন কি বলেছিলাম যে কতগুলো ক্রাইটেরিয়া আছে, right? So according to the WHO growth chart itself, even though not MUSC or edema, WHO growth chart criteria the child has severe acute malnutrition. So that is the diagnosis of the child. In this way, you take a history of the PEM. So as I said, there can be in PEM that a severe acute malnutrition can happen as a result of infections. If there is a severe infection in the recent history, then there can be acute malnutrition, or if the child is recurrently suffering from DSS from childhood, from ekdom chotobela theke 1 year boys theke, then there can be chronic malnutrition as well. So this is the malnutrition infection cycle. মানে এক তো তোমার ডায়েটারি ইনটেক কম, চাইল্ড খেতে পাচ্ছে না, there is weight loss, growth faltering, mucosal damage, immunity is lowered, তাতে কি হচ্ছে ডিজিজ হচ্ছে, and disease এর জন্য কি হচ্ছে in turn the dietary intake is lessened because there is malabsorption, there is appetite loss, child খেতে চাইছে না, lethargy. So this is a vicious cycle that continues. So this is the malnutrition infection cycle. Now how to detect PEM in the community? আমরা কি করে দেখলাম detect PEM, এই যে the tools that I have showing you from the last week, growth chart একটা, arm circumference, mid upper arm circumference, these are all very quick tools to assess PEM in the community. So the first indicator of PEM is underweight for age. একটা weight for age একটা দেখতে পারো, যদি সেখানে দেখছো যে there is undernutrition in the child, then you check for whether it is chronic malnutrition or acute malnutrition. Okay, these charts, growth charts use করা হয়, and these charts indicate at a glance whether the child is gaining or losing weight. Arm circumference is a relatively reliable estimation of the body's muscle mass and reduction by which the body adjusts to inadequate energy intake. Arm circumference cannot be used before the age of 1 year. Between ages 1 and 5 years, it hardly varies. An arm circumference exceeding 13.5 centimeter is a sign of satisfactory nutritional status. 12.5 to 13.5 hoche mild moderate malnutrition, and below 12.5 it is severe malnutrition. It is written in your book. Okay, but when you see the Sakhir step, it is 1 centimeter lower. The cutoffs are 1 centimeter lower because it is for detecting acute malnutrition actually. Okay, তাহলে দু রকম টাইপের হয় মেইনলি, একটা হচ্ছে স্টান্টিং, একটা ওয়েস্টিং। একটা স্টান্টিং, একটা ওয়েস্টিং। I'll just read out the parts that is there in the red boxes. That is, stunting is an indicator of linear growth retardation. আগে স্টান্টিং মানে ক্রনিক ম্যালনিউট্রিশন হচ্ছে, so it's an indicator of linear growth retardation. It results from failure to receive adequate nutrition over a long period or recurrent adequate nutrition over a long period. There can be recurrent and chronic illness. It is an indicator of past growth failure. It is associated with other long-term factors. So stunting often is, even for economic status যদি লো হয়, খেতে পাচ্ছে না রেকারেন্টলি, তার জন্য chronic malnutrition হয়. Stunting often results in delayed psychosocial and cognitive development and poor school performance. So স্কুল পারফরমেন্স থেকে বেশি বেসিক্যালি তাদের ডেভেলপমেন্টাল মাইলস্টোন গুলো কিন্তু পিছিয়ে পড়ে ইন ক্রনিক ম্যালনিউট্রিশন। দ্য ডেভেলপমেন্টাল মাইলস্টোনস ইউ উইল ফাইন্ড দ্যাট দে আর ডিলেড usually. Cognitive development, they are delayed. So a stunted child has a height for age z-score below -2 standard deviation. তবে কি আমরা বলতে পারি the child has stunting, as you saw in the previous growth chart. In this case, it is called stunting. The child has stunting. Next comes to wasting. Wasting represents a recent failure to receive adequate nutrition and may be affected by recent episodes of diarrhea or other acute illnesses like pneumonia. Recent episode যদি তোমার কিছু হয় বা recent কিছু loss of adequate nutrition আছে. Causes include inadequate food intake, incorrect feeding practices, disease and infection, more frequently a combination of all these factors. So this is why we are taking so many history of so different dimensions or perspectives, because it can be a combination of all these factors. তোমার ডায়েটারি দিয়ে আমরা দেখছি ফুড ইনটেকটা ঠিকঠাক হচ্ছে কিনা, ফিডিং প্র্যাকটিসেস, দেন ডিজিজের হিস্ট্রি অ্যান্ড আর কম্বিনেশন অফ দিস ফ্যাক্টরস। অ্যানথ্রোপোমেট্রিক্যালি আমরা দেখছি যে আর কিছু প্রবলেম হচ্ছে কিনা। So a wasted child has a weight for height z-score at least below -2 standard deviation. Weight for height টা -2 standard deviation এর নিচে হবে, as we saw in this growth chart. So we have learned this in the last class. তোমাদের বারবার এটা একই কথা বলছি because this definition is very important or the criteria is very important and it will be asked in some form or the other in your exam. So SAM child কাকে বলে একদম ভালো করে মনে রাখতে হবে, very low weight for height, that is z-score below -3 standard deviation of the median WHO growth chart standard, and a mid upper arm circumference of less than 115 millimeter or presence of nutritional edema. তিনটের মধ্যে যে কোনো একটা থাকতে হবে, তবে কি আমরা তাকে SAM child বলতে পারবো। They are 9 times more likely to die than normal weight for height children, and they can in turn increase case fatality during when the child is suffering from any disease. মানে নর্মাল ডিজিজে চাইল্ড যদি রিকভার করে যেত, চাইল্ড যদি নর্মাল নিউট্রিশনাল স্ট্যাটাস থাকতো, if a SAM child has a disease, they are more likely to die from that disease. So this can actually increase the mortality of the child. So as we again saw that for SAM child, these are the criteria. Then moderate acute malnutrition, আমরা কখন moderate acute malnutrition বলবো, severe এর জায়গায় যখন the weight for length or height is between -2 standard deviation to -3 standard deviation and mid upper arm circumference is between 115 to 125 millimeter. Systemic examination ও করতে হবে, finally clinical diagnosis দিতে হবে, and you do this with this Shackey step. It is to detect acute malnutrition. Understood between that cutoff and this Shackey step cutoff, ওটা হচ্ছে নর্মাল ওভারঅল ম্যালনিউট্রিশন দেখছি, এটা অ্যাকিউট ম্যালনিউট্রিশন দেখছি Shackey step দিয়ে। So this is the difference between kwashiorkor and marasmus. This is a old difference you all know, but mainly the difference between them are kwashiorkor is due to protein deficiency, mainly protein deficiency, and marasmus is due to both protein and energy deficiency. So kwashiorkor e ki hoy, under 5 child e hocche, and nothing in the bodily anatomy it is prominent because there is nutritional edema all over the body. Okay, there is an enlarged fatty liver, there is moon feces, then sparse hair. That is why the head to toe examination is important to detect whether the child is suffering from kwashiorkor. Okay, flaky paint-like skin, lethargic, it requires adequate amount of protein. But in marasmus, it is in weakened infants. Usually it is seen in infants. Due to low calorie intake, there is severe growth retardation. Okay, then everything is shrunken and all the ribs and all the bony prominences they come out, they are very prominent. Okay, so there is no fatty liver, edema is not present, old man like face, no hair changes, but the skin is very dry and wrinkled. That is the difference from kwashiorkor. Okay, and they require the whole balanced diet, that is adequate amount of protein, fat and carbohydrate. So this is the two extremes of a SAM child. Understood? In your book, there is this table in the nutrition chapter about the protein requirement and energy requirement per day in a child. So you can see in preschool years, that is under 5 child niye amra apatatto concerned. So in preschool years, this is for the, in your recent book, not in the old version, the recent book, ICMR has given some new nutritional RDA guidelines for 2020, since 2020. Okay, so there, before it used to be like 6 months to 12 months, and then above 12 months it used to be like that. But now it is for here the preschool children, everyone has to have a protein requirement of at least 0.95 gram per kg per day and energy 79 kilocalorie per kg per day, that is around 80. So the protein energy ratio should be 4.8. You have to see a protein energy ratio, that is a quantitative analysis of protein intake. Protein energy ratio ta dekhte hobe, because in kwashiorkor the protein energy ratio decreases because the protein intake is low, protein content in the body is low. But in marasmus, the protein energy ratio might be the same, but both the quantity of this protein and energy, they decrease. This is how you can quantifiably see whether the child is suffering from kwashiorkor or marasmus. Which deficiency is the child suffering from? Energy or protein? এটা আরেকটা চার্ট তোমাদের বইতে, সেখানে ICMR 2020 রিলেটেড টু ICMR 2010 গাইডলাইন্স দেওয়া আছে যে এনার্জি ইনটেক কত হওয়া উচিত ফর 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, then 1 to 3 years এভাবে দেওয়া আছে. As you can see, with age, even before and after this change, the energy requirement is increasing. Energy requirement is increasing. অতটা যদি মিট না করতে পারে, then there can be acute malnutrition. Now this is there both in your pediatrics as well as community medicine books, that is classification of protein energy malnutrition. There are some old classifications and there are some new classifications. Older moddhe porche Gomez and Wellcome classification, new gulor moddhe Waterloo IAP classification ta porche. In India we usually follow the IAP standards, but I'll go from the first to last. That is 90 to 75% of expected মানে কি, ওই যে গ্রোথ চার্টে দেখেছো, at that age what should be the median age, that is the expected age, that is the median age, median weight, sorry, the median weight এ থেকে তোমার কত কম. If it is within 90 to 75% of the median weight, then this is a first degree PEM. If it is lower till 60%, it is a second degree PEM, and below 60% is a third degree PEM. Almost similar to IAP, সেখানে একটু কাট অফটা লোয়ার, ঠিক আছে, 80 to 75%, then 70 to 60%, then 60 to 50% হচ্ছে থার্ড ডিগ্রি, আরেকটা 50% এরও যদি নিচে চলে যায় of the expected weight, then there is a fourth degree PEM. Now we come to the Wellcome classification. Wellcome classification কি? সেটা হচ্ছে kwashiorkor আর marasmus এর মধ্যে ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করতে হেল্প করে। কি করে? If the child is between 80 to 60% of expected weight, মানে first and second degree এর মধ্যে আছে, then with edema the child is suffering from kwashiorkor. If the child has edema, and if the child doesn't have edema, then there is, we can say there is just undernutrition. The child has not developed into kwashiorkor or that protein deficiency. Maybe it is a deficiency of both, but the weight range is within above 60% of expected weight. But if the child's weight is below 60% of the expected weight, মানে 60% একটা basically তুমি ধরে নাও একটা কাট অফ, তাহলে with edema the child is suffering from marasmic kwashiorkor, and without edema the child is suffering from just marasmus. Okay, so it is depending on edema is there or not. Edema থাকলে kwashiorkor আছে, edema না থাকলে kwashiorkor নেই, number 1. Secondly, 60% এর উপরে না নিচে ওয়েটটা দেখতে হবে. If the weight is below 60%, then the child is also suffering from marasmus. This is the classification according to the Wellcome criteria. And finally, the Waterloo criteria. Here you can see that if you have plotted that growth chart of WHO, both তুমি weight for height দেখলে আর height for age দেখলে, মানে acute ও দেখলে chronic ও দেখলে, and you plotted that ওরা -2 স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ডেভিয়েশন থেকে উপরে আছে না নিচে আছে। If both of the charts show the child's weight is above -2 standard deviation, then the child is normal. If only acute is there, then wasting. If only chronic is there, then stunting ache. And if both are there, that is both are below -2 standard deviation, then there is both stunting and wasting. Okay? আর তারপরে এটা একটা ওভারঅল, এন্ড তারপরে যদি সিভিয়ারিটি দেখতে চাও যে হাউ মাচ স্টান্টিং দেয়ার ইজ অর হাউ মাচ ওয়েস্টিং দেয়ার ইজ, severity দেখতে গেলে again that percentage criteria is there, mild, moderate, normal, mild, moderate, severe. So it is there for both chronic and acute malnutrition definition করা আছে। এবার এগুলো তোমাদের আলাদা আলাদা করে পড়িয়ে লাভ নেই, এগুলো নিজেদের পড়তে হবে মনে রাখার জন্য, because you will use this till your final year. So you just go back and read in your book, but all these 4 names of the criteria and this cutoff should be remembered. গুলো পড়তে হবে। ওকে, ফাইনালি we coming to the management, সেটা হচ্ছে এনআরসি। So the most important contributing factor কি, that most deaths among children are suffering from common childhood illnesses such as diarrhea, pneumonia, severe acute malnutrition. আর তার জন্য কি হয়, স্যাম চিলড্রেনের জন্য ইউ ইউজ ফ্যাসিলিটি বেস, মানে কোনো হেলথ ফ্যাসিলিটিতে কোনো ইউনিট আছে লাইক এনআরসি, সেখানে তাদের ট্রিটমেন্ট করা হয় আন্ডার 5 years of age who have medical complications, স্পেশালি যাদের আরো মেডিকেল কমপ্লিকেশন, মানে তাদের লেথার্জিক হয়ে গেছে, খেতে পাচ্ছে না, বা কোনো সিস্টেমিক কমপ্লিকেশন ডেভেলপ করে গেছে, ইন দ্যাট কেসেস you send the child to the nutritional rehabilitation center. The focus is on improving the skill of the mothers on child care and feeding practices so that the child continues to get adequate care. ওখানে কারেক্ট করে দিলে চাইল্ডকে মেডিকেল কমপ্লিকেশনস এন্ড ফিডিং হ্যাবিটটা কাইন্ড অফ রেস্টোর করে দিলে, কিন্তু তারপরে বাড়িতেও কন্টিনিউ করছো কিনা সেই অবধি তোমার হোম বেসড কি বলে এনআরসি ওর হোম বেসড নিউট্রিশনাল কেয়ারটা কিন্তু কন্টিনিউ করে। তাদের বাড়িতে গিয়ে আশারা দেখে যে তাদের ওয়েট গেইনটা প্রপারলি হচ্ছে কিনা, তাদের কতটা ডায়েটারি ইনটেক হচ্ছে, দ্যাট কেয়ার ইজ কন্টিনিউড আফটার দ্য চাইল্ড গোজ হোম অলসো। ওকে, সো হোয়াট আর দ্য divisions or the types of care in the NRC? All these services are provided there, that is care and monitoring, treatment of complication, therapeutic feeding. Feeding শুধু nutritional না, therapeutic feeding মানে as a therapy দেওয়া হচ্ছে to solve the complications in the child. Then sensory stimulation, emotional care, counseling to the mother. Then demonstration and practice by doing of all these feeding practices. Social assessment of the family and follow-up of the children discharged from the facility. So all these services are given from the NRC. Now overall তুমি যদি একটা চাইল্ডকে আনো, there are 2 types of treatment that is going on simultaneously. There is a medical management and there is a nutritional management. Medical management complications যা যা আছে সেটা তো সব দেখছো, চাইল্ড ঢুকে প্রথমে এয়ারওয়ে ব্রিদিং সার্কুলেশন, ঠিক আছে, সবকিছু দেখা হবে, চাইল্ড স্টেবল আছে কিনা তাকে মেডিকেলি স্টেবিলাইজ করতে হবে, সাইড বাই সাইড থেরাপিউটিক ম্যানেজমেন্ট, থেরাপিউটিক নিউট্রিশন আর নিউট্রিশনাল ম্যানেজমেন্টও স্টার্ট হবে। So both these things are going on simultaneously. Finally, when the child will be fit for discharge, they will be discharged and home care will be continued. So what is the first step? That is the emergency triage and treatment, checking airway, breathing, circulation, coma, child coma te ache kina, child convulsion hocche kina, and dehydration ache kina. All these things will be checked during triage. Je child ta kotota serious. Then both their medical and the nutritional management will start. First phase of the NRC is a stabilization phase. The child is unstable at this point. The child has to be stabilized first. So broad spectrum antibiotics cholbe, early initiation of therapeutic food. Child kirokom bhabe ashbe, the child is a SAM child, the child will have no appetite for food or vomiting kore dicche, মেজর মেডিকেল কমপ্লিকেশনস আছে, তাকে কি ডায়েট দেওয়া হবে ফ্রম দ্য নিউট্রিশনাল পার্সপেক্টিভ? ইট ইজ কল্ড স্টার্টার ডায়েট। স্টার্টার ডায়েট অর F75 বলা হয়। ওয়াই F75 মানে ফিডিং 75 কেন বলা হয়? বিকজ পার 100 ml of that F75 solution there is 75 kilocalorie of energy with protein of 0.9 gram per 100 ml. এত কম এনার্জি কেন বা এত কম প্রোটিন কেন, বিকজ চাইল্ডকে তুমি এর থেকে বেশি দিলে চাইল্ড ক্যানট টলারেট আনটিল দ্য চাইল্ড ইজ স্টেবল, বাট ইউ হ্যাভ টু স্টার্ট অন সাম ফিড। সো নেজোগ্যাস্ট্রিক টিউব দিয়ে ফিডিংটা দেওয়া হয়। ওকে, দ্য চাইল্ড ইজ হুকড আপ, দেন তোমার নেজোগ্যাস্ট্রিক ফিডিং আইভি টাইভি সব চলছে। ওকে, ওষুধের সাথে সাথে তোমার নেজোগ্যাস্ট্রিক টিউব দিয়ে এই F75 ডায়েটটা স্টার্ট করা হয়। 75 বিকজ অফ 75 কিলোক্যালোরিজ পার 100 ml of this feed. Then this stabilization phase usually lasts for 1 to 2 days. 1 to 2 days লাগে চাইল্ডটাকে স্টেবিলাইজ করতে। It promotes recovery of normal metabolism because the metabolism has become abnormal, child কিছু ডাইজেস্ট করতে পারছে না। Keep giving the food, then the child regains normal metabolism and nutrition electrolytic balance restored. যা যাচ্ছে চাইল্ডের মধ্যে যতটুকু সেটা তোমার ইলেকট্রোলাইট সিমিলার করতে পারছে কিনা, তোমার ওই জন্য আইভিতে তোমার ইলেকট্রোলাইট চলছে, খাবারও তোমার যাচ্ছে, and finally the balance is maintained and the child becomes stabilized in this stabilization phase. Now what is the next phase of this? That is the transition phase. Transition phase. When will the transition phase, like when will you transfer the child to transition phase? When you see that at least there is a beginning of loss of edema and the return of appetite, and this nasogastric tube infusion medical problems are removed, and the child is alert and active. Now the child has become alert and active, the child has stabilized. So now you put the child to transition phase. Transition phase, it lasts further 2 to 3 days minimum. Now the child can tolerate the increased protein energy intake, তাকে আরো বেশি খাবার দিতে পারো। So you start F100 diet. F100 মানে একটু বেশি এনার্জি দিয়ে দিলে, প্রোটিন দিয়ে দিলে, that is 100 kilocalorie per 100 ml with protein 2.9 gram per 100 ml. So this is the transition phase where you give breastfeeding and nutritional counseling to the mother also. এই টাইমে কি করে ব্রেস্টফিডিং করাতে হয় চাইল্ডকে, যদি চাইল্ড ব্রেস্টফিডিং করছে তখন হাউ টু গিভ কমপ্লিমেন্টারি ফিডিং, কাউন্সেলিং পার্টটা তখন এই টাইমে স্টার্ট হয়, কারণ খেতে পাচ্ছে এখন চাইল্ড। Now you have to start counseling the mother side by side that how to feed the child, because the mother, now you are making the mother also participate in the care of the child. ওইখানে এনআরসি তে বসেও কি ফিডিং শিখিয়ে দিচ্ছ যে এইভাবে খাওয়াবে, এইভাবে ব্রেস্টফিডিং করাবে, এইভাবে খাবার খাওয়াবে। That will lead to better nutritional gain of the child. So like you can see, this is a diagram I think from Harrison textbook থেকে এটা diagramটা আছে, এটা important, you will find it in your next year. But basically this is what happens during NRC. At the first 1 to 2 days of stabilization phase, you correct the hypoglycemia, hypothermia, dehydration যা যা আছে চাইল্ডের মধ্যে। Okay, you treat the infection, you correct the immediate micronutrient deficiencies but do not give iron, and you begin feeding F75 অল্প অল্প feeding start করলে। Now once it is moved to from the transition phase, that is between the unstable phase and the stable phase, there is a transition phase. সেখানে তোমার you have to keep correcting the electrolyte imbalance. Okay, there is a loss of edema, তোমার ট্রিটমেন্ট অফ ইনফেকশন তখনও চলছে, ফিডিং আরো ইনক্রিজ করে দিচ্ছ, and you are still correcting the micronutrient deficiencies, and side by side তুমি স্টিমুলেশন দিচ্ছ বাচ্চাকে, প্লাস তুমি কাউন্সেলিংও চলছে। Okay, so all these things are done usually during this activity. Finally, after the child has gained the reasonable appetite, finishes more than 90% of the feed without a pause, without a big pause, there is major reduction or loss of edema chole geche pray, and there is no other medical problem left in the child, then you put the child to rehabilitation phase. Why rehabilitation phase? Because child ke normal food, normal home food, home based food, সেই দিকে rehabilitation এর দিকে নিয়ে যেতে হবে। So now both medically they are fit for discharge and there is rehabilitation phase going on. So it is done to promote rapid weight gain, stimulate emotional and physical development, lasts at least 2 weeks, introducing normal semi-solid to solid food. আস্তে আস্তে চাইল্ডকে rehabilitate করতে হবে to solid or home based food or semi-solid home based food. And the child has to be also prepared for normal feeding at home. তাহলে এখানে কাউন্সেলিং এরও বড় রোল আছে for the both the mother, okay, and in the follow-up, the child enrolled in the Anganwadi center, home visits by Anganwadi workers for weight monitoring, feeding, counseling. এখানে যে অঙ্গনওয়াড়ি সেন্টারের আন্ডারে চাইল্ড রেজিস্টার্ড আছে সেখানে তাদের ওয়েট মনিটরিং, তাদের কমপ্লিমেন্টারি ফিডিং এগুলো তো এনশিওর করতে হবে, যে ওখান থেকেও খাবার খেতে হবে, সো দ্যাট এগেন যাতে আবার বার করে নিয়ে গেল বাড়িতে আবার দের ইজ লস অফ তোমার নিউট্রিশনাল ইনটেক, এটা যাতে না হয়, দ্যাট ফিডিং ইজ কন্টিনিউইং. It might happen because of lower socioeconomic status or lower income, the child is not fed properly at home, এটা হতেই পারে. So they are then আঙ্গনওয়াড়ি সেন্টার থেকে যেন খাবারটা পায় চাইল্ড, অ্যাটলিস্ট ওটা এনশিওর করতে হবে ইন অ্যাডিশন টু হোম ফুড. So this is there in the rehabilitation phase. Finally there is a community based therapeutic feeding, যেমন হচ্ছে তোমার আঙ্গনওয়াড়ি সেন্টারে, that is a community based feeding. So these are some of the pictures that is there in the F75 and F100 solution. This spotter will not come in your exam, it is basically there in the community, but this is how the solutions usually look like. Okay. So when will they be discharged? Only when their weight for height is at least above the 2 standard deviation on the growth chart, and they have no edema for at least 2 weeks. মানে রিহ্যাবিলিটেশন ফেজটা পুরো দেখতে হবে, চাইল্ড যখন ওয়েট গেইন করলো আর তাদের -2 স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ডেভিয়েশনের উপরে গেল, and there is no edema for at least 2 weeks, and the mid upper arm circumference is above 125 millimeter, and they have no edema for 2 weeks. Only then the child is declared fit for discharge. So rehabilitation phase at least 2 weeks রাখতে হয় বাচ্চাকে, টোটাল মোটামুটি 3 weeks মিনিমাম এনআরসি তে বাচ্চার সাথে মা থাকে. ওকে, এন্ড মাদারকে কি করে কাউন্সেল করে ছাড়বে? They should be given appropriate meals and the correct quantity of food at least 5 times per day. Give high energy snacks between the meals. এই যে এটাই এক্সট্রা অ্যাডভাইস বা ম্যানেজমেন্টের মধ্যে পড়ছে, কিন্তু কাউন্সেলিং ইজ অলসো পার্ট অফ দিস. ওকে, দ্যাট গিভ হাই এনার্জি স্ন্যাক্স, খাবার তো খাওয়ালে মাঝখানে হাই এনার্জি হাই ডেন্সিটি এনার্জি খাবার খাওয়াতে হবে, ফ্রুটস খাওয়াতে হবে, মিল্ক বানানা এগুলো খাওয়াতে হবে. অ্যাসিস্ট অ্যান্ড এনকারেজ দ্য চাইল্ড টু কমপ্লিট ইচ মিল, কমপ্লিট যেন করে, ছেড়ে না দেয় মিলস খাওয়া. গিভ ফুড সেপারেটলি টু দ্য চাইল্ড সো দ্যাট দ্য চাইল্ডস ইনটেক ক্যান বি চেকড, অ্যান্ড breastfeed as often as the child wants. Okay, so চাইল্ডের যে নিউট্রিশনাল রিকোয়ারমেন্টটা সেটা সম্বন্ধে মাদারকে ভালো করে কাউন্সেল করতে হবে, কিভাবে খাওয়াতে হবে, কতটা খাওয়াতে হবে. Now when you are getting such a case in the community, what you can do after the child has come back from the NRC, you have to give that immediate management, immediate advice, that early clinical management করো, deworming করাতে হবে, তাছাড়া স্পেসিফিক ডায়েটারি অ্যাডভাইস দিতে হবে, কি যদি খাবারে কোথাও কমতি আছে ডিউরিং ডায়েটারি রেকমেন্ডেশন, হোয়াট মোর দ্য চাইল্ড ক্যান ইট, হোয়াট মোর দে ক্যান অ্যাড, ওটাকে 3টে মিলের জায়গায় তাকে 5টা মিল করতে হবে, হাই এনার্জি ফুড তাতে ইনকর্পোরেট করতে হবে. সো দ্যাট ডায়েটারি চেঞ্জ মাস্ট বি মেড ফ্রম দ্য প্রিভিয়াস ডায়েটারি প্রবলেমস. ওকে, আর লং টার্ম পার্সোনাল হাইজিন, ভ্যাকসিনেশন, ব্রেস্ট ফিডিং, ওয়েট মনিটরিং, আইএফএ ভিটামিনের সাপ্লিমেন্টেশন, অঙ্গনওয়াড়ি সার্ভিস ইউটিলাইজেশন এগুলো বলতে হবে. This is basically the table যেটা আছে সেটা হচ্ছে IYCA for infant young child feeding practices. Up to 6 months exclusive breastfeeding, 6 to 9 months হচ্ছে খাবার দেওয়া হলো দিনের মধ্যে 2 to 3 times, semi solid food, lumpy foods with 1 or 2 snacks in between. Introduce new food one at a time, semi solid food বা mix যেটা খিচুড়ি বা সামথিং, আর লো কস্ট উইনিং ফুড মানে আস্তে আস্তে খিচুড়ি দিয়ে বা তোমার হচ্ছে ভাত আর ডাল অল্প মিশিয়ে সেমি সলিড করে খাওয়ানো, at least 2 to 3 times a day at least. Okay, then gradually increase the amount, and this food must include cereal, green vegetable, fruits, oil or ghee, mashed potato, মানে আরো যত এনার্জি ডেন্স ফুড দিতে পারবে তত ভালো, স্পেশালি অয়েল এন্ড ঘি, দ্যাট ইজ 1-2 চামচ দিতে হয় খাবারে. ওকে, then 9 to 12 months at least half cup food, reading, chewing 3 to 4 times a day with 1 to 2 snacks in between. And in the second year they introduce to family food and increase to 1 cup 3 to 4 times a day with 1 or 2 snacks in between. তাহলে এটি 3-4 বার at least খেতে হবে, নরমাল ডায়েটে চলে আসবে, আর 1 to 2 snacks in between দিতে হবে. So this is how the infant young child feeding practices is given to the individual level. Family level এ ওই complementary feeding, vaccination, okay, family planning choices, importance of birth spacing. Okay, Then other things like sanitation, proper waste disposal, hand hygiene, consumption of fortified food, মানে হচ্ছে iron rich food, iodine fortified salt এগুলো খাওয়াতে হবে। ডাইভার্সিফিকেশন অফ ফ্যামিলি ডায়েট ইন অ্যাপ্রোপ্রিয়েট ম্যানার, মানে একটাই খালি আলু আর ভাত খেয়ে গেছে, আলু আর ভাত খেয়ে গেছে দিনের পর দিন এরকম চলছে, এটা যদি না হয়, দের ইজ ডাইভার্সিটি, সবজিও খাচ্ছে, ফলও খাচ্ছে, ভেজিটেবলস, অ্যাটলিস্ট ওই বললাম ফুড ডাইভার্সিটি আর ফুড গ্রুপস ইনক্রিজ করতে হবে। ওকে, correct wrong cultural practices regarding food and lactation failure, eating junk food or any other family problems. And community level again awareness program আনতে হবে, promotion of education literacy এগুলো বলতে হয়। So this is how you actually manage a case of PEM in the community.